Welcome to session 4 of the Perspectives in Provider Adoption series, provided by Healthcare Repair. I'm Dr. KJ, and together we will review the strategic transition of healthcare providers' feedback into an actionable strategy for healthcare informatics leadership. In this series, we've covered quite a bit of ground. Previously, we discussed the vendor's view, and we began the subject of the consumer decision journey. This session will continue that theme with a healthcare enterprise representing the consumer and begin the transition into value-based care considerations. Be warned that this lesson will build on previous lessons, and we will introduce new concepts that must be combined to develop the collaboration and feedback cycle. Previously, we reviewed how important provider trust is in the nurturing of the consumer decision journey. Elements of this framework can be reviewed in sessions 2 and 3 if you wish to refer back. We will take just a moment to refresh ourselves on where we left the decision and development process. In essence, consumer loyalty has evolved from a linear, finite path to an abbreviated but self-perpetuating movement that allows a community of consumers to drive development while reinforcing loyalty. This means that after product delivery and project execution, the adoption and continued relationship with the brand becomes open-ended. The vendor's marketing team supplies additional opportunities to engage the brand and will position the physician or clinical informatics decision maker to figuratively own and literally represent the brand. The bond between the consumer and the vendor is strengthened on the consumer's terms and the vendor's timeline. The physician becomes the new voice through social media, industry publications, and user group adoption. This exploits various communication channels to ensure every voice is felt to be heard, while reinforcing that the driving message is seen as important within the ecosystem. To reinforce this concept, let's adjust our focus to review the shortened loyalty loop itself. A happy consumer will create a bond not only with the salesman, the product, or the successful implementation team, but with the brand itself. This sense of commitment is attractive to all parties and will help build a cycle of advocacy with other potential buyers. If you were a digital vendor, this is where you would want to be. Again, after the purchase commitment, a deeper commitment begins with the EMR brand, not just the product. Studies show that over 60% of consumers will conduct additional online research even after the purchase. This cyclical undertaking directs additional channels of feedback to the vendor's development team. The village approach legitimizes consumer-driven development, which by design is in sync with real marketplace needs. They encourage others, and in turn, they reinforce their own purchase commitment. So this slide is a little bit busy. Referencing previous lessons, this is a modified vendor's view Venn diagram overlaid with a modified loyalty loop. This serves to create transparency between the vendor's chess moves and the consumer's opportunities. The influencer will help to drive your strategy by creating the strongest bond and communicating value in the marketplace. When it comes to the influencer, the vendor should consider engaging them as a speaker at the user group. The disciple will continue to reap benefits from the efforts of the influencer. The disciple is stable. A vendor leveraging this group for site visits when courting new customers. The hedger keeps their options open. If you're on the vendor side, the hedger could possibly give you the most important feedback. If they voted not to purchase, you need to dig in and find out why. The sweet spot. The sweet spot allows innovation thinking outside the box. Provider voices in these blue water spaces will lend strength and momentum to emerging technologies. So by this time you realize that succinct vendor marketing will drive a greater level of provider adoption in the digital healthcare marketplace. Though each healthcare enterprise is unique, the use of a simple crosswalk template can help you get your informatics strategy off on the right foot. First, identifying in which group your organization resides would be an obvious start. Remember, your organization's overall IT strategy may cover all three of these groups, as the plethora of different business needs will draw out innovators at various levels of product maturity. Understanding the marketing strategies can help the wary healthcare CMIO in fine-tuning the best fit to match organizational needs. The 8P model. 8P model is a time-proven concept of marketing, which is a template of marketing tools used to create a desired response in the targeted market. Product, price, place of distribution, promotion, process, physical evidence, personalization, and performance. So I've split these two lists only to show the chronological evolution of the strategy. Understand that in evolution, evolution tends to continue to evolve or it goes extinct. Does this list look familiar to anyone? Where have you seen this in the past? Just think about it. Can you see how a digital vendor would want to leverage these concepts and in order to get in front of the market? The strategy for meeting our digital healthcare market needs must address each of these elements. The influencers, disciples, and hedgers all need an informed, nuanced, and actionable plan if the goal is to adopt and collaborate in the digital strategy. Comparing this framework to the list of the 25 reasons for resistance to physician adoption, we can see a great deal of overlap. So let's switch gears one last time and begin to ensconce our operational strategy. How can we crosswalk a solution set from 25 problems that we're experiencing with the provider adoption to fit within our forward-facing enterprise strategy? According to the Accountable Care Learning Collaborative at Western Governors University, there are 5 categories of competencies required to adjust from a fee-for-service model to a value-based care model. You're probably well-versed in all of these, but just to recap, these are governance and staffing, finance, care delivery, health IT, and trust. Again, we hit with trust. Trust, of course, is the most subjective, but possibly the most important on this list. Addressing the adoption problems we discussed earlier in Lesson 2, the proactive distribution of problems to the empowered ownership of each of these value-based care competencies will help the organization to address each by leveraging organizational accountability. As you recall, this lesson is entitled Collaboration and Feedback. We've certainly covered a lot of material in this session. Let's tie all of these pieces together with a modified Plan, Do, Check, Act cycle. Starting with the red question mark, we're presented with a significant list of pre-existing issues that must be addressed. Clarifying your organizational position with the vendor or vendors of choice should be driven by assessed mission compatibility, solution maturity, and organizational capacity. Continuous validation ensures that the consumer helps to drive the brand's accountability. This is facilitated if the vendor can quantify value by addressing and delivering to the 8 Ps of the solution set. Categorizing your committed solution with all of its little idiosyncrasies into your care delivery matrix will help you with assigning responsibility and operationalizing a best fit clinical program. And of course, then the cycle continues. To recap, this session showed an extended relationship between marketing strategies and the ownership of addressing resistance to physician adoption. As we grow near the end of our provider adoption courses, please review your notes and see if you have any follow-up questions that you would like to address. All you have to do is write me at kjyoung@healthcarerepairllc.com and we can heal the process. Session adjourned.